A month ago or whenever was that Texas opened up, Fauci said cases are gonna spike now. Yeah, the cases are down.
And you hear what Fauci said?
Which one?
It's hilarious.
What did he say?
Jamie and I were talking about it yesterday. They asked Fauci, like, why do you think that the cases haven't spiked in Texas? He said, well, obviously the people in Texas are how did he phrase it? He said they're behaving themselves.
Yeah, behaving better, and
they're behaving better. And Jamie's like, have you fucking been to Texas?
Yeah. But isn't this also like just completely circular logic?
Yes.
Where you're like, okay, so if I say this is going to happen and then the opposite happens, it's because of what I said. That was, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what Cuomo was throwing in everybody's
bullshit.
face in New York.
Yeah.
Cuomo was saying, if we got to lock down because you didn't wear your masks. You ate the cheesecake, you're going to get fat. Remember that? Yeah. He was using these fucking down-home analogies like, Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you what I can't stand, which just like makes my blood boil, is when they use your basic freedoms as a negotiating tool. Like they're like, well, if you do X, Y, and Z, then maybe we'll let you have restaurants.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll let you do this. Like, who the fuck are you?
Get back some of your freedoms.
Like now you're using my freedom as a carrot on a stick to get me to do what I want to do. Like, what type of sick shit is that?
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I called you, one of the reasons why I wanted you to come here to do the podcast, because I've heard you talking about COVID passports, about vaccine passports. And I share your deep concern about this idea, because this is not something that they're just going to keep with COVID vaccines. If there's a way that they can get you to show your papers and to show whether you have an app on your phone, whether you're, whatever it is that you have to have in order to be able to freely travel around the United States, they're going to keep that fucking thing.
Well, and I said, just like I said before, if you're just looking at the bigger picture of it, you're like, look, this is, and I think objectively, the country went totalitarian for about a year. Now, not every single part of it was as totalitarian as the rest, but according to governors, out of their own words, they suspended the Bill of Rights. Yeah. And we've been in a year living under that. Like, how long do you think we can go in living in a totalitarian society before that's just what our society is? Yeah. And there's not really a memory of the old normal, or at least that seems like the old times. That's not who we are anymore. Right. We're already dangerously close to that position. And now we have this opportunity where it's like, hey, Joe Biden says that everyone who wants to take the vaccine will be able to take it, I think, by June, he said. Everyone who wants it will be able to take it. And that's a perfect little opportunity point to go, okay, so we break out of it now. Now we break out of it. Now you can make a sound argument that if the vaccine's available for everybody, the people who want it can take it, and the people who don't are choosing to take the risk. And now we go back to normal life. And at the same time, they're proposing this vaccine passport, which really, if you look at the proposals, isn't a passport, it's an app, right? With your medical history, with that can, your data can be tracked, your location can be traced, all of these things. But what they're talking about doing now, when we have this fork in the road, we could go back to being a free country. Not as free as some of us would like, but at least the way we used to have it, right? Or we can go to what is being proposed and talked about, which is a national caste system, where there's one group of people who have basic freedoms and rights, and one group of people who do not. They don't have the freedom to travel. They don't have the freedom to go to events, maybe not to work. Ideas have been floated out about grocery stores. That's a national caste system. And also just, throwing away the idea that you have any type of medical privacy from the government. This is it's being done in collusion between big businesses and governments, and this is already happening. It's being done in New York City. It's being done in other countries, and there were reports in the Washington Post, in CNN, about the Biden administration meeting with these big businesses to say, oh, you know what, it's not really good enough to do a local level or a state level thing. We need to have one national standard. So you're talking about a national caste system, and if we embrace that, man, I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but I think this whole thing is fucked. I really think this whole country, we are not going to come out of this. If we embrace the idea of now, this is an idea straight out of the Chinese social credit system. This is what they're proposing we do. By the way, China already has the COVID passport. This is what China does. That's it. No sense of like you have a right to do this or you have a right to not do that. And come on, you think they're going to take that power and then this will only ever be used for the COVID vaccine? Why
It's
would
also
it be?
logically, it doesn't seem to make sense. If the vaccine is available to everybody who wants it and everybody who wants it gets vaccinated, who are we protecting?
Yeah.
If these folks are out there that aren't vaccinated, that are supposedly these super spreaders, and that's what we're supposed to stop, right? The idea is that these people who aren't vaccinated, they're dangerous, and we have to, you're not being a good citizen because you haven't been vaccinated. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep you from doing all the things that you want to do, and we're going to allow those other people that have been vaccinated to have those freedoms. But aren't those people who have been vaccinated and have those freedoms, they're not vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the idea?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Logically, it makes no sense. Morally, it makes no sense. But it is an unbelievable opportunity for the government to really keep a serious, level more of control.
But I think the Biden administration has rejected this so far. Like there was a discussion where they were asked, and I think what's her name, Jen Psaki? She was saying that they have no plans whatsoever to do vaccine passports, and that this is not something that the Biden administration believes in.
Yeah. So what happened was there were these reports that were out that said that the Biden administration was consulting with these big businesses on how to do it. There was a big uproar about it. And then when she was asked, she was like, no, we're not going to do that. And ultimately, I think that's quite possibly what ends up happening. Like, I think oftentimes they put out these feelers to kind of see what the people are willing to take.
Like going to war with Syria.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
It gets a little bit too much pushback. No, we're going to back off.
Right.
Remember when they tried to regulate the internet?
During the Obama administration.
Yes, the SOPA bill or whatever. They put it out there. Everyone lost their shit. They went, not yet.
Yep.
Not yet. Okay, not quite ready.
Right.
But so that might be the case. And then there's all these other arguments, like just the practicality of it. I mean, like, look, if you say you have to show a driver's license before you vote, people will lose their minds about how this is racist because poor people and black people disproportionately tend to not have driver's licenses. So what is an app on a smartphone? I mean, how do you think that's going to work in practice if you're saying you need that to do these basic things? So there's all types of these problems of how you would implement it, but it's still worth noting that they floated this out.
Yeah.
Like there are these people in our government who would go Chinese fascist on us
If they could. Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips. Easily, seamlessly switch between video and audio experience. On Spotify, you can listen to the JRE in the background while using other apps and can download episodes to save on data cost, all for free. Spotify is absolutely free. You don't have to have a premium account to watch new JRE episodes. You just need to search for the JRE on your Spotify app. Go to Spotify now to get this full episode of the Joe Rogan Experience.